Hi, Andrea. Thank you so much for reaching out to us. My name is Cameron Knight, and I have with me here my lovely wife, Vanessa Joy Knight.
Hi, Andrea.
Thank you so much for offering a detailed overview of yourself and your husband, and for those images. It always helps us kind of center in the individual we're reading for. How we do or go about the style of reading is typically we shuffle the deck and then we will draw 3 cards. For this reading, I want to do it a little bit differently and maybe offer you a little more in that regard, and start with one card that is going to serve as the main theme and anchor of our reading. And then from there, we'll draw the 3 cards, which will elaborate on the first. That way we can have a more defined direction of where we want to go and what you're seeking. One of the things I love about the tarot is it often offers us questions and answers to things that we didn't necessarily know we needed. And so it often asks us the questions we should have asked. And that's why I really appreciate your trust in extending yourself to this general reading, because it allows for a little more openness and flexibility. So with that said, my lovely wife.
Sometimes those cards just like to pop right out while I'm shuffling.
Oh, right? Oh, good.
Yep. Our first one is the 5 of Wands. Is that the 5? No,
yeah,
that's the 7. I'm sorry.
Oh, but I know the theme.
The 7 of Wands, yes.
It's a little hard to see in the light. I apologize. The 7 of Wands has to do with a type of familial or collaborative conflict. So it's typically, in the typical Rider-Waite deck, it's demonstrated as individuals that are essentially attempting to construct an edifice using a variety of wands. But in that process, there's consternation, there's frustration, and things are not going as they planned. And so the individuals in that party mistakenly kind of turn on each other. It's not that they don't have a love for each other or kind of an abiding friendship or goal, but it's just their own personal just bubbling is getting misconstrued. One of the things I love my wife always says is that we often hurt the people that we're closest to because of their proximity to us in relation to our own frustrations. Do you have anything to add in that regard?
Yeah, this may just be a time where you're feeling like you need to transcend certain energies around you and your family that may not be serving to your design and
Yes.
how you would like to see your life turn out. So I'd like to see us pull another card to support that.
Okay.
And go from there. Is that all right?
Yes, but this has to do with people in your environment. It could be community, it could be family, it could be even coworkers that are in proximity to you. They're supposed to be on your team, but you kind of feel like things are turning against you.
Yeah, and maybe it's been hard to stand in that strength, because once we're influenced and kind of have our group that we've accumulated over time and strengthened those bonds, sometimes it can feel difficult to not take their influence, whether they get offended or you just feel put off by it and you're uncertain of how to deflect. So let's see what this other card says about that. Oh, this is a great one. The 9 of Cups.
The 9 of Cups is a cup of cups representing plenty and success. 10 is the ultimate culmination of any suit, and 9 is essentially one away from that mastery level. And so it's the 9 is the initial taste of success in the realm of that area one is aiming towards. The 10 being kind of the complete respite and relaxation and realization of that achievement.
And with cups symbolizing emotion, this could, in relation to the 7 of Wands, be tied to your emotional mastery when it comes to severing certain ties, or maybe not fully severing, but just distancing yourself emotionally from the influence and maybe the incorrect direction of others that you've been susceptible to either recently or in the past, that you're kind of hanging on to and you feel doesn't serve you anymore. So this is great. You know, you're on your way to that emotional mastery and feeling like you can stand on your own and be your own influence.
Yeah, the Seven of Wands also has to do with contending with more than you have the capacity to deal with. And you can see this figure in the Nine of Cups is they're alone, but uh, but not in poor company. They have a contentment and a a peace of solidarity. So it could speak to a little bit of retreating. It reminds me a little bit of the Hermit card and going within and even physically removing oneself in order to have that introspective reflection and reprieve.
Yeah, and that emotional element is huge when it comes to feeling that sense of ease in life and not being so tied down by your emotions, but releasing them by means of either meditation or some form of an ideal that brings you joy.
Yeah. I thought it was very sweet that you included your husband in these pictures and all of his information. And so I want to make sure not to be neglectful of that prompt in a sense. So for this next card, I would like it to speak of your relationship with him and him to you. And I congratulate you, by the way, on your long living marriage and
Yeah, absolutely.
see if we can speak to that a little bit.
Oh, this is a cool one, the Fortitude card.
Oh, great. It's a beautiful card. Um, I mean, it's in the word itself. One of my wife and I, we are relationship people, and we devote the greatest amount of time, energy, and um, our life force to our relationship. And one of the things that we have noticed within the theme of this ritual and this celebratory act is that if you're really doing the work, if you're doing any work, there is a resiliency that is required of you in order to manage it successfully. One of the things I just wish I could cry to the rooftop to people when it comes to love is I don't necessarily think that love is hard, life is hard. And love should be the respite to life, but at the same time, within that disciplinary structure, there is a myriad of virtues that need to be exercised in order for there to be success within that realm. And we were just talking about this the other day, sweetheart, that what's so amazing about the bond of marriage and the attempt, at love is that it is a purifying um, ceremony or ritual. It really is because it requires the nullification of all of those, kind of base um, instinctual prompts that our body gives us when it comes to just short temper, libido, distraction, selfishness, and quells and quiets them for the sake of something more meaningful. And in doing that, it really does become a spiritual practice. So, because you guys have been married a long time too, and I'm sure you guys have felt this along the way, if you ever feel like there's a little bit of a grinding or a little bit of a tension there, that just speaks to the everyday practice um, of that celebratory rite.
Mm-hmm.
Love can't be equated to anything but love, but I think of it, in a sense like exercise, where it doesn't matter, how great you're doing or how fit you are, you still have to warm up the muscles every day. You have to go through those, movements in order to feel yourself again. And it's the same in a relationship. So don't be frustrated by that. If you feel it a little more right now, do you have anything to add?
That was really beautifully said. I appreciated what you said about the exercise element to it because that is what breeds that fortification of your bond. And from just looking at your photos and reading what you had to share, it sounds like the two of you are doing a beautiful job at just that. So, congrats to the both of you.
And I did not realize this fortitude card is a veiled or interpretive card of the strength card in the tarot, and which is also a very feminine card. So this may be prompting you to say that maybe you might have to lead the way a little more in this, or to be a little more of the ingratiating element in that. And so that is the offer. But as you can see, it's hard to see. She's standing next to a broken pillar, which is the spiritual prompt that all things can be restored in love, or in other words, love conquers all.
And another thing that my husband and I do discuss frequently is the deconstruction of the self in order to additionally fortify the bond within the realm of love. And the deconstruction comes from our past, our experiences, the things that we believe have made us who we are because of our just previous time on this earth prior to entering into that love. And it can be incredibly strengthening to acknowledge where you've been and where you are now and what that bond has done for you, and to share that with your spouse, and to just be in that gratitude. And that gratitude is what will additionally fortify and strengthen your marriage.
Your marriage, and not just because you know kind of led with that in your intro to us, seems to be the fortifying bond that is going to help you out of this thematic card above, which is being overcome with the accosting elements of life. In that realm, you are going to find your peace in celebration and, like my wife says, the management of emotions and kind of the inner life, and that partnership with your husband. So that fortitude, it's not, I hope it didn't come across as an accusation towards your marriage, but rather something that would be well suited to focus on in order to combat these outer forces. That is to be your peace, really, and
your armor.
Yeah, truly.
Yeah.
So in that theme, let's draw one more card, which kind of adds to the trinity of kind of forces that will help navigate outside of this.
The Ace of Cups.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. Ace is beautiful. It's beginnings. And just like the first here, Cups has to do with emotions. The comfort of emotions, also their frustration, is they're the most breaching element of our kind of composite of who we are. They're the things that can slip in the easiest and really have a malleable, I can't say that very well, malleable effect on our decision making and just our overall state. It's frightening how much it is attached to even our psychosomatic response systems in our bodies, and how much it can change even what's going on physically within us. But the comfort is it can also be used as a utility in that regard. So really, really, this is an encouragement to watch your emotions. We're told in the Bhagavad Gita, we are to guard our thoughts like diamonds. I mean, truly, like anything invasive that comes in, really make it a habit to correct it, address it, and decide if you want it to be an abiding presence in your thoughts. One of the things that my wife taught me that really helps me, it's been a tremendous help, because I'm somebody that lives in the mind, is, if I'm being accosted with things that are not true in my head or whatever, to really call them out and say, what do you say? This is false. Yeah, that's what I say. This is false. And when I utter those things, they, more often than not, they really do just go away. So watch out for your emotions.
And with that said, too, I want to piggyback on that. If you do this already, then I feel like the two of you really help each other in this regard. But keep your heart and mind open to learning from your partner. And because men and women tend to think very differently, try not to negate something that maybe doesn't land at first when it comes to his help in the regard of maybe transcending these energies around you. But in order to work through them together, just to keep that openness around him, and with his guidance and maybe channeling even that you may not even be aware of, and same to him as well. that the two of you seem to communicate well. If you hadn't, then you wouldn't have sustained this long
Yeah.
up to this point. But continue in that amazing communication and just be content that you are on the right path when it comes to sustaining your emotions and the energy around you, and that you are in this together.
That's beautifully said. At the end of the reading, sometimes what we do, and something I'd like to do now, is to draw an oracle card for you. It's another guiding prompt in that it offers one word that you can kind of center as the main theme and anchor of this reading, and also a type of prompt in that regard. So I'll have my lovely wife choose one.
This one's poking out.
Da-da-da.
Ooh, mysticism. I like this one.
Oh, that's a beautiful card. Mysticism is the realm of unseen. It's the emotional realm. It's the intuitive realm. It's the realm, it's the hand that reaches outside of the common flow and thrush of life. And so to me, this is saying that you are going to find your peace, especially with your husband, in your intuitive play. This is the crown jewel of my joy with my wife, is being able to move freely and intuitively and play in ways that are just so grounding and essential for moving through the everyday. Can we share a couple things we do just for fun?
Yeah, of course.
You guys are experts, so you probably know way better tricks. But one of the things my wife does is she picks me up from work every day. We just have one car so we can keep close and just simplify life. And when I say car, I actually mean a minivan. Because what we do is we have all the seats out in the back, and she'll fill it full of blankets and games and all sorts of stuff. And we will spend an hour at the end of work just in the back of the van, just hanging out, playing games, talking. And it's a way to just be away from the world. Sometimes we'll like go into our van if it rains or something like that, just to be.
It's our sacred space.
It's our sacred space. And so it's a silly thing, right? It's an eccentric thing. It's kind of funny, but it's also so sweet and fun and allows us to just be separate from things, if only for a little while. So to me, that is a mystic approach to a very tangible world. So I hope you can find those with your husband as well, if you don't already have them. If you do, please lean into them. Thank you for your trust. I hope this wasn't a word salad mess over here. Thank you to my wife for letting me talk so much. And we wish you guys every good thing.
Yes, thank you. It was a joy, Andrea. Take
Bye-bye.
care.